Ray J was kind of down on his luck because the whole bullshit had happened, and then, you know, Whitney was dead and he was using her, as he's said himself, for clout. I know whose money the proceeds are going to, and royally, and for inventing Diddy.
Black artists have always had it tough coming through an industry that has been little accepting of them. But what if I told you that they were often betrayed, stabbed in the back by the people closest to them? Let's start with the case of Mary J. Blige.
The singer reportedly her husband Kendu Isaacs in the face after she thought he was flirting with the waitress. Footage obtained by the Post shows Blige raising her hand in front of Isaacs.
In 2003, Mary J. Blige tied the knot with Martin Kendu Isaacs. Later on, she brought him on board as her manager, and initially things seemed to be running smoothly. However, by 2016, their relationship hit a rocky patch, leading Blige to file for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The split was far from amicable, with disputes arising over various matters, including spousal support payments and allegations of infidelity on Isaac's part.
Mary was in a different space, you know what I mean? And the person that energy was for, obviously that's changed.
Women, you know, women done had the babies though and stuff. They deserve alimony.
She didn't have any babies.
I know she didn't. So what does he really need money for?
In her VH1 documentary, Strength of a Woman, as reported by Extra, Blige discussed the rumors of cheating with fellow singer Nayo, who was working on tracks for her new album. While the name of the alleged other woman, Linnea Starshell Menzies, was censored, Blige expressed her hurt, saying, "All these years have come to this like, you didn't even pick me. You picked somebody else. That ST is humiliating. It hurt real bad. But they got beds. We gotta lay in it." Blige further cautioned Nayo about involving Starshell in her projects, stating emphatically, "And just so we're clear, do not let her anywhere near what you're doing for me, because she's the reason for all of this ST." Starshell was also mentioned in Blige's divorce petition, per TMZ. The singer alleged that during their marriage, Isaacs had misused over $420,000 designated for travel charges, supposedly spending it on his mistress instead. The challenges Mary J. Blige faced throughout her life brought her to the brink, leading her to open up about grappling with suicidal thoughts at one point. Speaking openly to CNN, she shared, "I guess it was something in me did want to die. You know, I guess my spirit didn't want to die, but my physical body definitely was at some point was like, I gotta get out of here." Fortunately, she credits her inner strength with pulling her through those dark times. "My physical body was contemplating side and all this other crazy stuff," she continued, "and my spirit is what saved me, I believe." In 2009, Blige co-founded the Foundation for the Advancement of Women Now, FON, in Yonkers, aiming to provide women and young girls with life skills, self-help resources, and empowerment tools. The center served as a sanctuary for those in need. Despite the memories tied to the center's opening ceremony, where she confronted both past suffering and newfound hope, Blige found solace in the opportunity to fulfill her dreams of aiding others. "It was happy and sad because you know the very place where I've seen so many women suffer is the sad part, and the very place that I suffered is the sad part," she shared. "But the happy part is, I'm back to help. I'm back doing what I dreamed to do. My dream is coming true." Toya Jackson has also opened up on occasion about her controversial marriage to her late ex-husband and manager Jack Gordon, whom she was married to from 1989 to 1997.
I never like to say his name because it was such a bad influence, and it was a control factor and a lot of women, they probably get this in their lives.
In 2011, during an appearance on CBS's The Talk to promote her autobiography, Starting Over, Jackson revealed disturbing details about her past. She claimed that her abusive ex-husband once attempted to arrange for her to have with boxing champion Mike Tyson in exchange for $100,000. Jackson shared the shocking revelation of Gordon's actions, including and coercion. She accused him of beating her life and forcing her into situations she was deeply uncomfortable with, such as Group S and posing for Playboy magazine. Recalling the incident involving Tyson, Jackson recounted, "Mike Tyson later told my mother and father and some other friends that he, Gordon, had told him that if he wanted to sleep with me, he has to pay $100,000. She explained how Gordon manipulated her into compromising situations, exploiting her vulnerabilities and religious beliefs. Jackson published her memoirs to encourage women, sharing her experiences as a strict Jehovah's Witness with a naive view of the world. She admits to feeling psychologically younger than her age at the time due to her sheltered background, making her vulnerable to manipulation and abuse. On the other hand, when Tina Turner first opened up about the abuse she suffered during her marriage to Ike Turner, it took courage to share her story so publicly. "I was insanely afraid of that man," she told People magazine in 1981, shedding light on the painful truth behind their successful music partnership. Tina vividly recalled their marriage, including incidents such as being forced to attend a live show on their wedding night and suffering physical, including being hit with a shoe stretcher while pregnant. She also described how Ike threw scorching coffee at her and used a coat hanger to brutalize her. Tina attempted side in 1968. "I was afraid to speak out about the because of Ike's reaction," she confided in journalist Carl Arrington. Ike Turner, who died in 2007, always refuted his ex-wife's accusations of abuse and bemoaned the way the media depicted him. The couple's tale started when Tina, being only 17, ran into Ike's group, Kings of Rhythm. Ike gave her a stage name, made her the lead vocalist, and showered her with presents after being impressed by her abilities. When they got married in 1962, Tina vowed to stay with him forever, a promise she later came to regret, feeling helpless and afraid following her tragic childhood and Ike's violence. By 1978, Tina had had enough and had left Ike, unwilling to put up with the suffering and its consequences for their 4 sons. "I was living a life of death. I didn't exist," she reflected, "but I survived it. And when I walked out, I walked, and I didn't look back." Tina relocated and focused on rebuilding her career, performing in Las Vegas and on various TV shows to support herself. In a 1981 interview, she decided to share her experience in order to confront her from the past. Tina expressed her concerns about the interview in the 2021 documentary Tina by Daniel Lindsay and TJ Martin, seeking reassurance from her psychic, who predicted that it will really advance her career. Tommy Mottola, the former chairman of Sony Music and Mariah Carey's first husband, replied to charges that he was controlling throughout their marriage. In his forthcoming memoir, he suggested that Carey should recognize his role in kicking off her career. Carey had described their 4-year marriage as a private hell, accusing Mottola of mental and emotional abuse. Mottola was 2 decades older. The singer, who is now one of the most successful musicians of all time, married the record executive when she was 23 years old. She stated he was jealous and controlling, and she expressed a desire to be rescued from their unpleasant marriage. Mottola, on the other hand, protested in his memoir, Hitmaker, claiming that his control was crucial to her success. He admitted to being obsessive but defended it as a factor in her ascent to fame. Mottola also revealed that he discouraged Carey from taking getaways early in her career, believing that there would be time to celebrate later. Many people were skeptical of their connection, which started as an affair and ended in a harsh divorce. Their lavish wedding, costing $500,000, symbolized their union. However, Mottola's therapist and even his children expressed doubts about the relationship. Despite this, Mottola was convinced of Carey's potential, foreseeing her as a global superstar. He took credit for pushing Carey's ballads into the music scene, resisting her inclination towards R&B. He also claimed responsibility for her Christmas album, despite Carey's comparison to Connie Francis. In her 2016 reality show, Mariah's World, Carey describes that difficult period in her life. "I was with someone at the time that had a lot of control over my life. He was older than me by a lot and had a lot of power, and he wanted me to remain away from most people, like sequestered," she says, via stylist. "I had to get permission to leave the house." In Mottola's memoir, Hitmaker, The Man and His Music. However, he admits it was absolutely wrong and inappropriate to get romantically involved with Carey. He writes that he is truly sorry for any discomfort or pain that all of my good intentions inevitably caused her, and most of all, for the scars it left on my 2 oldest children. In 2020, R&B artist Bryson Tiller found himself embroiled in quite a dispute between his current management and his former management. TMZ reported that Bryson's former manager, Stephen J. Dorn, filed a lawsuit alleging that Tiller owed him money. Dorn claimed to have covered various expenses for Tiller, including living expenses, child support payments, car insurance, and recording facilities. According to Dorn, Tiller agreed to reimburse him and split future income evenly, but removed him from his position with the help of a new lawyer in 2015. Tiller spoke about the legal issues in a 2017 interview with Harper's Bazaar, referring to them as lawsuits and ST. He expressed the stress of dealing with people claiming he owed them things, especially amid the challenges of fame and adjusting to his role as an artist. Tiller mentioned his struggle with being introverted, but noted that he was gradually becoming more comfortable with his public persona. In 2016, Wiz Khalifa also took legal action against his former manager, Benji Grinberg, and Rostrum Records, aiming to terminate a $360 deal he supposedly entered into at 16 years old back in 2004, as per Variety. Khalifa argued that this contract, extending over a decade into his future, led him into transactions that favored Grinberg's interests, as reported by Variety. An artist's most trusted advisor is his or her personal manager. Generally, nothing good comes out when the manager decides to go into business against his artist. Unfortunately, that is the case here, stated Alex Weingarten, Khalifa's attorney. As per The Hollywood Reporter, Khalifa sought $1 million in damages. In 2014, the rapper terminated Grinberg's services, claiming the contract violated California labor laws with its 7-year rule. Grinberg responded with a countersuit, demanding millions of dollars in unpaid royalties from touring and merchandise earnings. The dispute was resolved in early 2017 through a settlement for an undisclosed sum. Whitney Houston, the legendary singer with one of the most incredible voices in history, seemed to have it all: massive album sales, 6 Grammy Awards, you name it. But behind the scenes, she was reportedly living a different reality, one that was partly crafted by her manager. Back in 1985, music mogul Clive Davis plucked this unknown talent from New Jersey and polished her into a pop sensation for Arista Records, as reported by People. But it wasn't all glitz and glamour. They added, Clive made her into a mainstream pop star and allowed all of her wildest dreams to come true. But being this massive pop star came at a price. She had to act a certain way in front of the cameras for the label. That wasn't the real Whitney. Apparently, the pressure became too much for Whitney. She was hurting, dealing with all the expectations and the strain of living this double life, a source confided to People. According to those close to her when she passed away, Whitney Houston was like 2 different people. One was the glitzy pop sensation carefully crafted by music bigwig Clive Davis, while the other was the Newark girl who rebelled against the pressure to be perfect by diving into in her early 20s. There were a lot of expectations in terms of who she was and who people thought she was. A close family friend told People in 2016, I think not being able to be herself 100% was a hell of a burden for her to have to carry. Someone may look good on the outside, sturdy and strong, but on the inside, you have someone who had insecurities and family issues and emotional personal issues and struggles. After Davis signed her to his label in 1985, she had to do what he said, wear what he said to, sing what he wanted her to sing, and act like a goody two-shoes when she was really a down and dirty girl from Jersey, said a record executive who worked with her. Whitney definitely resented that. Her relationship with Bobby Brown, whom she married in 1992, and her use were acts of rebellion, according to friends. It was her way of pushing back against the pressure, one explained. For her, became an escape. Initially, she kept her use under wraps, but it spiraled out of control. Things got really bad, a family source revealed. Sometimes she didn't even recognize herself or those around her. Surrounded by people who enabled her habits, Whitney wasn't afraid to cut ties if someone didn't play along, a close friend admitted. When everyone else was absent, it was Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina, who stepped up to care for her mom. There's this memory of Bobby, just 11 or 12 years old, opening the door at their Atlanta home when Whitney wasn't feeling well. Bobby said Whitney wasn't feeling well, so she put her to bed, recalled the family source. I went upstairs to her bedroom and the room was a disaster, with piles of clothes and dirty dishes strewn about and Houston asleep in the midst of it all. The family source said it was the bedroom of a junkie. Despite numerous stints in rehab over the years, Whitney battled addiction until it tragically claimed her life. You wouldn't believe it, but even the big shot in hip-hop, Sean Diddy Combs, known for playing tough with his artists at Bad Boy Entertainment, has recently made a surprising move. Instead of cashing in big by selling off publishing rights, like other big names such as Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, and Shakira have done, Diddy has been handing them back to the artists and songwriters who helped shape his record label into the powerhouse it is. Back in 1993, when Diddy was still rocking the name Puff Daddy and Puffy, he teamed up with Arista Records to birth Bad Boy Records. This label became a heavyweight in both coasts of the music scene, boasting talents like the late Notorious Big, his wife Faith Evans, R&B sensations 112, The Lox, and Mace. Just last week, Mace's podcast buddy Cameron spilled the beans that the Feel So Good rapper rapper, who had been at odds with Diddy over publishing rights, had finally sorted things out and reclaimed them. And guess what? Mase wasn't the only one. Reports from Billboard and Variety revealed that Diddy has decided to give back publishing rights to Mase Evans, 112, The Lox, and even Biggie's estate. While the exact terms weren't disclosed, these assets are worth a pretty penny, possibly hundreds of millions. This whole process kicked off in May 2021, with Diddy apparently turning down a sky-high offer to sell the Bad Boy music catalog, all in the spirit of showing appreciation to the folks who helped him build his empire, according to a source in the know who spoke to the BBC. And there's more to come. Contracts with many more Bad Boy artists are supposedly in the works. Back in September, Diddy made a bold move that's likely to shake up the music industry in a big way. See, typically record companies hold on to the publishing rights of songs made by artists signed to their labels. But this practice has been criticized for years because it often benefits the companies more than the artists themselves. Remember Taylor Swift's battle with Scooter Braun over her former label? Bad Boy followed this model for years, although Diddy reportedly paid Biggie out of his own pocket when he signed him, and even shared some publishing rights with the late rapper before his tragic death in 1997. In an interview reposted by Diddy himself, he said, "Out of all the business revenue in America, only 1% goes to black businesses. But then there's an accountability from us because we have a $1.8 trillion buying power, and only 2% of that recirculates in our own communities. So we can't complain. It's time to change the tone. We have to unify our dollars, or else nothing will change. We have to weaponize the almighty black dollar to save us." This is interesting, considering Diddy, too, is now getting his comeuppance by initially exploiting everyone he got his hands on. In November 2023, singer Cassie, also known as Cassandra Ventura, dropped a bombshell. She filed a federal lawsuit against her ex-partner Sean Diddy Combs, accusing him of physical and S abuse during their relationship. The lawsuit claimed horrifying acts, from violence to R, allegedly committed by Combs. Shockingly, the rapper settled the lawsuit within a day, but that wasn't the end of it. Soon after, 3 more women and 1 man came forward with their own lawsuits against Combs, alleging various forms of abuse including S harassment, R, and ST. Things took a serious turn on March 25th when federal agents raided Combs' properties in Miami and Los Angeles, linked to a federal ST investigation centered in New York. Combs, however, maintains his innocence. His lawyer released a statement emphasizing his client's determination to clear his name, denying all accusations. Combs himself spoke out in December, condemning the allegations as attempts to tarnish his reputation and legacy. Cassie's lawsuit, filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, shed light on disturbing details of alleged abuse and control. She claimed Combs controlled every aspect of her life, from her career to her medical records, and subjected her to violence and forced S encounters with other men. Despite witnesses and her friend Tiffany Red corroborating her story, Combs vehemently denies all allegations. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.